SteamOS is gearing up for a general purpose release. A general purpose release for basically anything that runs x86 hardware, like a laptop or a desktop or a handheld. But the big question is, how many people will actually jump over to SteamOS, and is the world even ready for a public beta, much less a full release of it? And yes, Valve says this is a beginning of supporting other handhelds. But if you like this video or any other video I've made, please like, subscribe, and share with all of your friends. And in the meantime, why don't you check out Off the Console? It's a brand new podcast created by me, Gardner Bryant, and Games Revealed, with guest stars occasionally. And while yes, it's on YouTube, it's also available wherever podcasts can be found, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Check it out. SteamOS 3.7 marks the beginning of support for other handhelds. But aside from that though, there aren't too many major details. A lot of these are more backend upgrades like drivers, but probably the most significant one of these backend upgrades is upgrading KDE Plasma, the desktop environment. There were many changes between the version of KDE Plasma that the Steam Deck comes with and this new version of KDE Plasma. So many new changes I couldn't possibly list them in all one video. Arguably the biggest change is a visual overhaul on almost every aspect of KDE. Another major change is the simplification of the settings menu. No, I don't mean you'll get less options, no, I mean it'll take less clicks to get to the options you want to get to. And this will be very important because, well, we do a lot of Steam Deck tinkering here, so it'll make my videos a little easier to film. KDE has a whole changelog available on their website, so be sure to check it out. And yes, upgrades to many things, like the Linux kernel, Mesa driver updates, and even the Arch Linux base itself. But most importantly, 3.7 is beginning to support non-Steam Deck devices. And yes, the latest update that came out on the 16th was Valve releasing SteamOS 3.7.3. This version right here implements frame limiting for variable refresh rate displays, whether they're internal or external. And finally, yes, increased support for Asus and Lenovo handhelds. A public beta for SteamOS is coming out sometime this May, supposedly. In theory, this can be installed on just about any computer, but I still find the biggest issue with Linux support is Nvidia GPUs, so if you have an Nvidia GPU, you might be out of luck. Valve may rectify this before the beta releases, but we haven't had any word on Nvidia support whatsoever. And the ball is almost entirely in Nvidia's court. I suspect this is the main reason why SteamOS took so long to release, because they need to get Nvidia on board, otherwise more than half of gaming computers can't use SteamOS. And that'd be kind of a bad look, right? From what I understand and what I've seen, it does quote-unquote work, but game mode has issues. Like, playing games in game mode, if you're trying to like play this as a living room PC, it has issues with game skip, that's all I know. And on the topic of Nvidia today quote-unquote launched a GPU today, multiple GPUs, supposedly, all of which are part of the 5060 family. We have 3 different types of GPUs. We have the RTX 5060 and 2 different versions of the RTX 5060 Ti. The 5060 has 8GB of GDDR7 VRAM, whereas the 5060 Ti has 2 different variants, one that has 8 gigs and another that has 16 gigs, which is especially unusual given that the 5070 has only 12 gigs. It's time for the gaming masses to move past 8GB of VRAM because clearly it's not enough anymore. And Nvidia continues to skip on VRAM because they're worried that having too much VRAM on a card will make it so that people won't buy their high-end enterprise cards for AI stuff. I think it's pretty clear at this point VRAM is the main bottleneck here. And if you look at the 1060 that launched many years ago, like almost a decade ago at this point, the highest end 1060 launched with 6GB of VRAM. Today, the 5060 only comes with 8GB of VRAM, a 2GB increase over the last decade. Now, typically I would talk about the price, but honestly, like every other tech creator, it's not worth talking about the price because realistically, you're not going to find these at MSRP in any stores. Like, yeah, the MSRP sounds pretty okay, I guess, but we're not even getting at MSRP, so what's the point? The main reason why people care about budget cards is in the name. They were made for people on a budget, and at one point does this defeat the purpose, because if you're gonna spend like double the price, why not just spend a little more to get a better card? I mean, everything's going up in price anyways, right? If we have one true villain in the PC gaming space, it's Nvidia. And quite frankly, why would they care about us? They make way more money off of AI than they've ever made off of gamers, period, right? It's part of why the 50 series has been so middling, because it's barely better than the 40 series. In fact, I'm not even sure it really is better than the 40 series, given that we lost 32-bit physics support. And multi-frame generation just looks awful to me. And there's also the latency issue as well, but the most egregious part of multi-frame generation is just how ugly it is. Like seriously, it's motion blur levels of ugly, and that stuff needs to be turned off immediately. Of course, there are always people that like these sorts of things. I mean, people like motion blur, so I'm sure some people will like multi-frame generation, but not me. And finally, you know, I don't think I've ever done one of these before, but I just want to talk about some games I'm excited for in the future. One of which is Ninja Gaiden 4. It's been quite literally over a decade since we last had a Ninja Gaiden game. And honestly, I'm just really excited to jump back in. I know a lot of people are concerned because Platinum Games is developing it and they're gonna make it not feel like Ninja Gaiden. But I mean, I trust Tecmo Koei to rein things in and make it feel like Ninja Gaiden as well. And on the topic of Ninja Gaiden, let's talk about Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Unlike the other one, this is a 2D side-scrolling action platformer, and it looks insane, and I want to play it now. It's being developed by the same guys that made Blasphemous, and you know, Blasphemous is actually really good. And finally, this isn't Ninja Gaiden, but instead it's Shinobi, The Art of Vengeance. Dude, there's so many ninja games coming out this year, man. Ninja gaming is back, friends. Shinobi is great, and Shinobi 3 is one of my favorite Genesis games. I would go as far as to say it's the best one. I wouldn't have expected a new Ninja Gaiden and new Shinobi game in the same year, yet it's happening. And finally, this one's actually not a ninja game, but instead it's a game I personally backed as well. This one is Unbeatable. Now, you may have seen on my channel I've featured Unbeatable White Label, which is a free version of the game that's basically just the rhythm game. But the full game itself is a rhythm adventure game, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these developers have in store, because I'd be lying if I said I didn't follow this game's developer for quite some time now. Links to all of these games in the description down below, as per usual. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos, and if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.